right, positive energy all the time. Good to see you all. Steady as she goes. Hope you all having a good evening. You know, as I always say, positive energy all the time. Rep your city. To everybody over on Twitch, I am representing the Windy City. To everybody on Kick, I am representing Chi-Town. To everybody on YouTube, I am representing Chicago, Illinois. And to everybody on Facebook, I am representing Chirac. Good to see you all. Let me see what cities are here. We got the great Buffalo, New York in the building with my brother XYZ. You know, when we was growing up, XYZ, as little children, our favorite part was LMNOP, right? Boy, you couldn't wait. When you used to say your ABCs, you couldn't wait to say LMNOP. Let me see what else we got here. We got the UK in the building. Salute to all my brothers and sisters and all the people across the water. Deisha say, praise to the Most High every day, living my life. Yeah, I see you, Deisha. I see you. Tell your uncle don't be blocking the views no more. Tell your uncle, get out the way. We got Wichita, Kansas in the building. We got Oklahoma. We got Oakland in the building, we got Oakland in the building. We got the D in the building, right? Wichita, Kansas. The great city of Detroit. We got Sacktown in the building, Sacramento. We're highly favorite cutie pie. We got Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in the building. Right? Oh, that's your daddy. Oh, your daddy trying to make sure we don't see. Yeah, but tell daddy, your daddy, he trying to hide the goodies. He like, y'all, no. Look somewhere else. Don't be looking at my baby. We got Jackson, Mississippi in the building. We got Lansing, Michigan in the building. What up, Tank? Yeah, we got all the great people in the building doing positive energy all the time. That's what we try to push, positive energy. Trying to get these young brothers and sisters to put the weapons down and behave themselves. We need some intervention with the young brothers and sisters. Make sure you support the channel at all costs. You know how we do. You already know. You already know how we do. Floyd and Tyson. Mike Tyson and Floyd gonna fight? I ain't heard that one yet. They trying to make some money. Y'all hit that like button, share, subscribe. So yeah, they trying to make some money. I can't hate on them. They trying to make some money. Yeah. What up, Craig? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm out the doghouse. Yeah, I'm out the doghouse. The fight between Canelo and Crawford. I always usually go. I try to support. I mean, but I'm always real. I'm not going by who I want to win. So I never look at boxing about who I want to win. I go by who's going to win. And I don't believe Crawford could beat Canelo. I don't believe it. Crawford, when he had that first big win, I thought that was a big deal. He looked well. Then he had like another fight or whatever. And I don't think he's proved himself. And I believe this is the fight that will determine if Crawford is really that or not. This is the fight. I don't believe he's strong enough for Canelo. He's not. He got to prove it to me. I don't believe he's strong enough for Canelo. It'd be unfair for me to take away all the great fights Canelo done fought in his long history as a champion for a newer person. That would just be bias, basically. I think that would be bias. I think anybody that's been watching boxing's got to give Canelo his respect. I don't know how people. I mean, I got to give Canelo his respect. He's proved that he's the man. Crawford haven't proved he's the man. He doesn't have the boxing history of Canelo. That's basically what I'm basing it off of. Like I said, if you paid your dues and you won a lot of great fights, you know what I mean, saying? Have I been paying attention to Molly, Niger, Burkino? Yeah, I've been paying attention. I think the brother in Burkino went and got the chickens to get rid of the locusts. They had a locust outbreak destroying the crops. He dumped 1 million chickens. He dumped 1 million chickens, and they killing the locusts. I congratulate him. He's a smart brother. He's a smart brother. But yeah, I mean, I'm always honest and okay. I'm gonna explain this, G-Rock, because people keep coming in. It's like this. As a content creator, I can't just be myself. So even if I wanted Crawford to win as a content creator, I have to be unbiased for people to watch me. And so if I come on here and I'm just a fan, I don't think that's good content. And so if I'm going to watch sports, I can't come and talk about what I wish, because that would not be a good sports analyst. So I have to come and look at it openly. And when I look at it, right, it would be totally ridiculous for me to brush out Canelo if you've been watching Canelo. Canelo hit hard. Crawford has never been hit like that yet. Crawford has not faced this kind of power. And unless, who has he fought with that type of power? Nobody. Canelo hits hard. So this is not a fight where Crawford can get touched. He cannot take no punches because one punch and his ass is done. So he got to fight the whole fight and he can't get hit. Now, what's the odds he ain't going to get hit? And I don't know if y'all been watching boxing as long as me, but Canelo hit like a truck. Okay? This is a strong dude, man, and a very dedicated boxer. Like, this ain't no guy that slacks in the gym or none of that. This is not the dude. Canelo is not the dude to brush off. So what I'm saying is, this is the first big test for Crawford. This is his Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. This is when he go to that status. If he beats Canelo, he gonna be the man. So how can I say Canelo gonna lose if that's who he got to be the man? He got to beat dude to be the man, which means he's not the man. You know what I'm saying? Let's just keep it real. Canelo's not flashy. He don't talk. You know all that. He don't do all that. He just let his fist do the work. Both of them don't do a lot of talking. It's got the possibility to be a great fight. And Crawford, to me, is not nowhere as dangerous as Canelo. Not even close from what I've seen. I don't see where Crawford is nowhere near as dangerous as no Canelo, but if you say so. Who was Crawford's last fight? He didn't look that dangerous to me. Let me see. And then we're going to get to the... Who he fought last time? He fought Sean Porter, right? No. Let me see who he fought last time. It wasn't all impressive like that. He fought that Madrid. He fought the Israel Madrimov. That wasn't impressive. That wasn't impressive. No, his last fight wasn't Spence. His last fight was Madrino, dude. That wasn't impressive. And Spencer wasn't nobody. Spencer ain't no Canelo, but whatever. Y'all think Spencer is a Canelo? Who thinks Spencer is on the same level as Canelo? Man, Spencer ain't no Canelo. Now I know a lot of y'all black, so y'all doing the black card thing. I know what you're doing. You're going with the black man. I know what you're doing. You ain't going with the fighter. You're going by color. You can't fool Big Pharaoh. You're going by color. You ain't going by real boxing. You know what I'm saying? I don't bet. I don't gamble. I stopped gambling since I was still gamble. I don't gamble. Yeah, I don't gamble. I don't gamble. I don't gamble. If I'm not going to gamble until they open a new casino in Chicago, and I'm going to go and I'm going to play some roulette. I don't gamble. I stopped gambling I mean, I'll go to the casino every now and then, but when I go to this new casino, I'm just going because it's new and they're going to be giving money away. I don't even play the lottery. I just buy the same number and wait till it hit. Crawford going to get knocked out if he don't be careful. He going to get knocked out cold. If he get hit, the fight's over. That's a fact. You say what you want to say. He can win, but if he get hit, fight's over. Fight's over. If he get hit, fight's over. If Canelo catch that jaw, it's over. It's a wrap. He's going down. That's a fact. But I'm gonna just watch it and call it even. I'm just gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch and see. I'm not for either one of them. I'm just gonna watch it. I'm gonna commentate. I'm gonna watch it live, and if he wins, that's good. If Canelo wins, that's good. That's how I look at it. I don't got no dog in the fight, so I don't care who wins. Whoever made the best man win. So tonight we talking about warships in the waters off of the Caribbean and Venezuela. That's what we're talking about tonight. I don't bet. I don't put it on nobody. I don't bet. I don't gamble. I don't gamble. You know what I'm saying? I don't gamble plant-based. I don't gamble. I go to the boat. When I go to the boat, right? They building a new casino. When I go to the boat, I'm really not going to be gambling. I'm going to be hustling. Why? Because when they open a new casino, it's really going to be huge. Hundreds of thousands of people going to come. A lot of money going to come into the casino, so they'll let you win because the house still going to be making money. So I'm trying to go to the new casino because they'll let you win because so much money's coming in, they don't care if you win. In a new casino, they need winners because they need you to go out and say, I want 800, I want 1,500, so more people will come. So when they open this new casino, I probably go like for a month, once a week, maybe for a month. Then I ain't going no more, but I'm not going to really gamble. I'm going to hustle. I'm going to get the free money that's going to be in there. You know what I'm saying? Now with this situation right here, for those that have been watching me a long time, did I not tell my viewers this? How long ago I said this? I said this 2 or 3 years ago. I told y'all all of this. So now I'm finna go back and pull up all the pictures and everything I said to reiterate what I told everybody originally. I told everybody this. I told everybody that they was going to have the Venezuelans come this way. The military was going to go that way. They're going to take all their land. They're going to develop it. And then they're going to send them back to Venezuela. But when they get back to Venezuela, they will be working for the United States of America. So we're going to break it down. I told y'all that when the migrants first came across the border, I told y'all who told them to come, who was paying for advertisement down in Venezuela saying come to the U.S. The United States was trying to get A lot of the people out of the way, right? I showed you all this picture. Those have been watching me. And what did I say? I said, look at all these Venezuelans. Now, y'all that's just watching me, look at all of these Venezuelans. Now, look to the right and look to the left. What do you see to the right of the people and the left of the people? Tell me in the comments. I need some interaction in the comments. What do you see? What do you, Jupiter, look what's on the right, and look, you see those banana trees right there behind the white sign? Those are banana trees, people that didn't live in the tropics. I lived in Hawaii for about 4 or 5 years, 4 years, 5 years, something like that. You see them banana trees? You see them palm trees? You see them coconut trees to your left? You see that? Okay. So now, over the last 7 or 8 years, America has been having, well, really 10 years, but really recently, the last 5 years, America's been having climate disasters. Okay. All right. Climate disasters. Okay. Check it out. Keep it real. This way you come and really learn some real stuff. Exhibit A. Georgia's peach crops have been devastated in the past years, particularly in 2023, due to a combination of warm, unseasonable winters and late season freezes, which prevented trees from getting enough required chill hours to blossom properly. In 2023, a warm winter led to early blooming, followed by freezes in March that destroyed the early flowers and small peaches. This resulted in a catastrophic loss of the crop, with some estimates showing losses as high as 90 to 98%, triggering a natural disaster declaration from the USDA. Okay? All right? So what happened is it got warm real early, too early. The trees started to make fruit. Then it got cold, right? And it killed all the peaches. Up to 98% of the peaches gone. California, almonds wiped out. Grapes been getting hit hard. Then you got hurricanes. You got the fires in California. You got floods. You got tornadoes. What they don't tell you is these tornadoes is going through these farmlands. Right? So we losing a lot of food. All right? So now, let me show you the game. Let's pick a number. Let's say you need, let's say you need 3 million oranges. So to make sure you get 3 million oranges, you grow 6 million oranges. Now, you grow 6 million oranges, you need 3 million But natural disasters wipe it out and you get 1.5 million. You need 3 million, but you grow 6 million, but you only end up with 1.5 million. But you absolutely gotta have 3 million. So in order to get 3 million, you're gonna have to grow 12 million to make up for the natural disaster so that you guarantee to get 3 million. Well, to increase how much you grow, you need land. On top of that, that 3 million is going to be projected to go up to 4 million with population growth. So you got to grow way more to offset natural disasters. America don't got no more farmland. It's all used up. But look at what we got here. Land, 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 land. So what do? You have pamphlets and things distributed down there saying, come to the U.S. Everybody remembers the migrant situation 2 years ago when them people started coming. There was reports of billboards, radio commercials, flyers saying, come to America. There were groups that were helping people come. Venezuela is a long way from the Mexican border. There were guides that helped people get to the border. It was done very professionally. I got a friend that's brother came up with them. And everybody wasn't Venezuelan, right? So if you know about NAFTA, the plan is to make this America, the Americas, with trade going from the top of Canada to the bottom of Central America. This only shows Mexico, but the idea is much bigger than just Mexico, okay? The idea is based on the new concept of, because it's just the United States, but they have a new concept called the Americas. And the Americas is the whole thing from the top of Canada to the bottom of South America, and they want to have trade. The only thing stopping them is I think a mile of land between South America and Mexico that's almost impossible to cross. They can't figure out how to build no roads there. It's considered one of the most dangerous places in the world. People go into that jungle and pass away. It's full of mosquitoes. It's full of water. And they haven't figured out how to close up that. I think it's a mile. Look it up. It's a mile on the top of South America to Mexico of people pass away up in that jungle. And they haven't figured out. Once they figure that out, they're going to have traffic go from the bottom of South America to the top of Canada and back and down. It's going to be the Americas. I've been told y'all this. So for that to work, they got to go and wipe out our opposition. With Venezuela being the number one target and Mexico being the number two target. Because if they go and they take over Venezuela and then they go and take over Mexico, they could squeeze everybody in the middle because the Mexican cartels is controlling and sending money to all of the gangs all the way down to the bottom of South and Central America. How is that happening? This is real history. In the 70s and the 80s, all of the cocaine was coming in through Miami. Miami was filthy rich. New banks being built and all that from this illegal money. Right? And so, with all this illegal money, Miami blew up. That's the Miami Vice era. The feds went in and shut down all the travel to Miami. At this time, this is in the 80s, at this time, the big players in the game is the Colombians. The Colombians is the big guys in the game. So they shut the Colombians down. You had other players too. So now they couldn't come up the East Coast. Right? So the Cubans and the Colombians and those people that was in on it, because Cuba was a spot, you know. So now they couldn't come up the East Coast. So they moved in the 80s to the West. And the cartels in South and Central America started coming up through Mexico. But the Mexicans started getting strong and start taxing the South Americans to pass through Central America, okay? So the Mexicans got in the game, and you had to pass through Mexico, so the Mexicans started building cartels and started charging, and the Mexicans control whatever went into California. So Mexico became the dominant country, shut Cuba down, shut Colombia down, shut Venezuela, all of them, they was done. The Mexican cartels became the number one gangsters in South and Central America. Okay? These are facts. So now, when the Mexicans become the rulers, the money started growing with them, and they became the bosses of South and Central America. Okay? They become the bosses of the area. So now, to do any business, you got to come through Mexico. You got to come through Mexico. If you don't come through Mexico, you can't do no work. All right? That becomes the problem. Now you got to come through Mexico. If you don't want to come through, if you can't pay, if you don't have the money, then you can't get up here. All right, you riding with me? The Mexican cartels become ruthless to the point where if you was coming from South and Central America and you wanted to pass through Mexico, you had to give up a kidney. You see all these men, they took their kidneys. See them scars? You had to give up a kidney. This is how ruthless it is down there. If you wanted to pass through Mexico, it's going to cost you a kidney. Look, this is the realest channel alive, okay? You ain't going to get this nowhere. You had to give up a kidney to pass through. These are facts. Don't let nobody fool you. You had to give up a kidney to pass through Mexico. You with me? So America wants to invade Venezuela and take that land and shut down their military so they can grow, so that it's war. So in this strategic war, they want to get this tip down here at the bottom of South America, and then they want to get the top part of Mexico. So now they got their troops in the top part of Mexico and the bottom part of South America, and they can squeeze everybody out and take that whole place. So this is step one, to go in there and to take Venezuela. Like coming down there with the warships, boom, right? They're going to come down there with the warships. But see, when they come down there with the warships, what them people don't know is they also finna come across the top. Okay? They're about to go to war with the cartels. Here's the cartels they got on the list. This was the day they announced the plan to go to war with the cartels. So Venezuela at the bottom, the cartels at the top, right? Because the cartels is in the jungle with the coca. But the coca don't make money like oranges, like bananas. They're like, listen, bro, everybody don't do cocaine, but everybody eat oranges, everybody eat bananas. So you got to go. Your crop don't make no money. We want the big money. So they're going to come, they're going to program drones, and they're going to send thousands and thousands of drones into Central and South America to destroy all their enemies. They're not going to go. Venezuela got their army. They're not going to come with an army. They got drones programmed where you in the jungles of Central or South America, and you're going to be there and some going to come and stop it. Boom, blow you up. Because all they got to do is go outside the coast, use their surveillance and their satellites to find out where everybody's at, go to the keyboard, type in all the locations to the drones, and them drones just going to leave the U.S. and destroy everybody. They're not coming in there with no troops. They're going to use missiles from a distance. They're going to use drones. And them drones could come right to you because it's a group of cartels here. It might be 150 there. That's not set up where you can have a war. It's a bunch of little groups everywhere. Well, the drones can handle that. I don't know if you've seen it or not, But have you seen like they have drones make whole big giant dragons where they got the drones so coordinated that they can go in the sky and make pictures with thousands of drones. Okay? They can make drones now, can get together. They got them so coordinated where they can make big old stuff in the sky. See that dragon? You know how many drones that is? You know how many drones that is to make this dragon? Look, Ukraine's dragon drones drop molten metal on Russian position. You see the story? Okay, this is where war is going. This is where it's going. All right? I don't want you to think I'm just talking. This is facts. So they finna go in with the drones. They're gonna wipe everybody out. When they wipe everybody out, right? The cartels gonna be out of here. They're going to war with the cartels. Ain't no law in war. Ain't no law. Ain't no law in war. When you the United States, who gonna make you obey by the law? Trump didn't already say he ain't listening to the UN. He ain't listening to none of that. Because if you the UN and you got a law, if we don't listen to you, what you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? Yeah, you got a law, but guns beat laws. Weapons beat laws. Laws ain't nothing. Weapons always win. You got the only way that you can sustain the law and uphold the law is with weapons. The police got weapons, don't they? If the police ain't got no weapons, ain't no law. Right? So they're gonna go in, they're gonna take it. They're gonna take South and Central America. They're gonna take all that. When they take South and Central America, they're going to come in, boom, Chiquita banana everywhere. Boom, sun kiss everywhere. Boom, blue diamond almonds everywhere. Right? All the plants need to make liquor. Cherries, strawberries, green peppers, onions, coconuts, pineapples, all this land. They're going to build these huge corporations where it's just acres and acres of oranges and pineapples and stuff, acres and acres of tobacco and stuff, acres and acres of coffee. And I can go on and on. Think of all the stuff you got to buy at the store. All that lettuce, onion, tomato, bell pepper. When you go in the store, look at the store and say, oh, this is what he's talking about. Then they're going to come and tell all these Venezuelans and Mexicans they're going to have big infrastructures like Sunkiss, and they're going to build housing right there next to the Sunkiss. And then they're going to tell all these South and Central America, it's popping back in Venezuela. If you know anything about immigrants that come here by force because they're looking for money, they be homesick. So they're going to be able to take the land, fill it with fruits and vegetables, and tell them, oh, so now the people in Venezuela going to be living good compared to how they living now because they're going to have steady jobs right next to the Sun-Kissed, right next to Blue Diamond, right next to the pineapple orchards, right next to so then all of the South and Central America is gonna what? Go home. So you're gonna leave South and Central America and come up here, and then you're gonna go back and go to work for the United States. They're gonna go back. It's gonna be apple trees everywhere, and they're gonna be like, my grandmama used to live there. Well, your grandmama don't live there no more. We took that. But we got a little house you can live over here. You can pick this stuff, and we pay you, and you be back home. Got you a nice house. It's nicer than it was when you left. Remember those raggedy shanty house you got? Oh, they're gonna do like they did the projects, but it's gonna be little housing. It's gonna be nice compared to how they was living, and they all gonna go back, and they're gonna be down there harvesting bananas, harvesting oranges, harvesting Blue Diamond. You see how people saying, well, why Trump chasing away the migrant workers? Because they got new work coming for them. Them strawberries they picking in California climate ain't steady no more. They need them to pick strawberries in South and Central America because they got to grow triple, quadruple, 6, 10 times more food to make up for natural disasters. This is what's going on. So they finna go down there and wipe everybody out. So you say, well, why they didn't start with Mexico first? Because Venezuela got all the oil. Venezuela is the number one oil country in the world. They coming for it. Yeah. In case you don't know why they going to Venezuela. Look at America. America way down at the bottom, right? Look at Venezuela. Venezuela got more oil than Saudi Arabia and Iran. They coming for it. They want the oil because they need the oil for their machinery and their cars and everything. And that oil, they're going to take that oil, is going to feed the military, it's going to feed the agriculture department because the agriculture department need oil. Tractors need oil. Farm equipment need oil. Cars need oil. Trucks need oil. Tanks need oil. Planes need all. They need oil. They come in and they take and do oil. Yeah, the leader of Venezuela, he talking, but he's out of here. He's finished. They already got his placement. They already got a Venezuelan to replace him. Dude, his replacement is practicing his speech now. We are going to have a better Venezuela. He gonna be working for the United States. Dude. Hold on, let me see. The president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro. Hey, Nick, it's a rap, big, big, baby, 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 it's a rap. Look, already. Look, who is Venezuela's legitimate? Oh, they won't let me show it. Who is Venezuela, the one all the way on the right? Who is Venezuela's legitimate president? This guy's smiling. All right. That's their boy. That's the U.S. boy. He finna be president because Nicholas, it's a rizzle nap. Okay? You finna take a dirt nap. Okay? Yeah, it's a wrap. You finna take a dirt nap. It's adios. It's adios, senor. Yeah, it's adios. Is over. You know what I'm saying? He can go, they got a drone with his name on it. He gonna be sitting there, boom. You know what I mean? Yeah. Instead of taking the oil, why don't America cut a deal? Listen, I could sing the answer. Gangsters make the world go round. But listen, this is gangster law. This is gangster. Why would I pay you, Robert, when I could just take your stuff? Why would I pay you? I could just take it. Did they pay the Native Americans? Did they pay the slaves? Why you want them to do something that ain't never paid nobody? I mean, like, what is we doing? Did they pay your ancestors? Man, they're not paying you. Why would I give you millions and why would I give you billions of dollars? Why would I give you $100 billion when for $2 billion I could take your stuff? What you gonna do about it? America puts their money in military so they can take stuff. This is the United States of America. This is gangsters. These are gangsters. These are gangsters. These are not. These. Yeah, they still owe them 70, so they ain't giving them nothing. They're not giving them nothing. This is gangster. See, what makes the foundational Black Americans the number one Black people, especially the number one Black man, is we was raised by gangsters. We wasn't in Africa. We wasn't in the Caribbean. So we the most gangster Blacks in the world. Other Blacks is slow. Not because there's nothing wrong with them, it's because they was brought up under slow leadership. We was brought up under the mob. I'm in Chicago. What's the name of the gang? The Gangster Disciples. Duh. And we gangsters. We gangsters. That's why I can't go to Africa. This is definitely a way to be less dependent on oil from the Middle East. They like, why would we get oil from the Middle East when we can run the Americas? And when we run the Americas, we gonna control everything. They ain't got no cola nuts. The rest of the world ain't got what South America got. Remember, when the Spanish left, where did they find the wealth at? South America. They went to South America and came back to England and Spain and all that with cocoa and coffee and all of that. And to stop them having to travel so far, they got some of the seeds, and a lot of the people in the Caribbean had passed away from the common cold. So they didn't have, when they left Europe and stopped in the Caribbean and then went to South America, when they got back to the Caribbean, the people had passed away from the common cold. You know, a lot of Native Americans passed away from the common cold, right? Because if you catch some other man's sickness, you don't got immune to it. So then what did the Spanish do? They went and captured slaves. They brought slaves to Jamaica, Trinidad, the Virgin Islands, and all that. Then they went to South America, bought the plants and the seeds back, and started to grow the stuff in the Caribbean because it was closer. Now you don't got to sail all the way to South and Central America. You could just sail to the Caribbean. So they took the coffee and the cotton and all that, the sugar cane, too, and grew it there and bought African slaves. Okay? That's who the Maroons are in Jamaica. They from Africa. The Haitians, they from Africa. And then some of them start coming up through New Orleans and then crossbreeding with us. So when people say we're not African, you don't know no history, because we were still breeding with Africans. Black Native Americans breeded with Africans. You got African blood, because they're going to breed anybody that could pick the cotton. So for you to think you was a Native American and you didn't pick cotton, you crazy. You picked cotton. And for them women to have babies, they had to sleep with whoever the slave master made them sleep with, whether he was a Native American or African or wherever. They needed babies. And they needed babies, what? That could what? Take the sun. So no matter where you was from, if you was brown and you could take, it was just business. It wasn't racism. They used the racism to get the whites to go along with it. But slavery wasn't racist. Slavery was based on the fact you could take the sun. That's it. Whites can't stand in the sun. They get sunburned, start peeling and stuff. They from a cold climate. Okay? Slavery was about, that you could take the sun. Just that simple. And you was the masters at cotton because you grew the best cotton in the world in Kemet, in Egypt. That's why Sunrise say 80% of Black Americans, you from Egypt. And them people you called Native Americans Black is from Kemet. They are from Egypt. They was just here before the whites, but they're not from here. So when you hear these Moorish dudes talking about we was already here, no, we still came from East Africa. The Moors come from Egypt. The Moors are ancient Egyptians and didn't break off until one of them wanted to sleep with Hannibal's daughter and he wouldn't let her. The Moors was in Hannibal's army. This is a fact. And broke off and went up to Europe and taught the Spanish and stuff and fought with the whites against the blacks. It's a fact. Okay? And so now, strangers in the land is not ours. The whole earth is ours. The earth is our turf. We ain't no strangers. The European is a stranger. The whole world is ours. We've been everywhere. We ain't no strangers. We have been over here. They was the strangers. That's why you had to grow the cotton, because you knew how to do it. He didn't know how to do it, which means he ain't from here. He didn't know what to do. He had to get you to do it because you knew how to do the whole world. Everywhere you went, you know how to do it. Bob, it ain't nothing. He didn't know because he was from the cold. He wasn't from no tropic. Where they from? They're originally from when the earth was all together. Then when it split, polar bears turn white, they turn white. This one turned a little yellow, this one turned a little red, this one stayed black because he stayed under the sun. Everybody changed when you had the Pangea. How'd the polar bear get white? What you telling me that for? You know what I'm saying? We can't live without no money. Not today. Where you going to live at without money today? But I understand what you're trying to say. So, this is what's going on. They're going down there to take the oil and to grow food. It's just that simple. And they're going to send them back down there to pick bananas, pick oranges, work on the almonds, work on the grapes, work on the strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, coconut. Because see, down there in South America, they can grow everything in the world. Everything. This is why they're going down there. It's all economics. They finna take that whole area. They're gonna take that whole area. Yep, that area they finna take it. The whole entire area. They're gonna take it. Do some research and you'll see what I'm talking about. All you gotta do is just do a little research. And you'll see they plan. They've been planning this for a very long time. They want that oil. They want that oil. And they get ready to get rid of them cartels. Them cartels is out of here. Cartels, they finna attack the cartels. And the cartels are sending weapons throughout the whole South and Central America. That's why they got to take over the whole area. You understand? These is all facts. This is what's going on. So when you see everything happening, you know what's really going on. You understand? And you just do some research and you'll see they've been planning this. They've been planning this. This is why Trump ain't negotiating with Mexico. He like, we don't got to negotiate with you because we're finna take it. You see how the Mexican president, see how she was mad because he was kicking all the migrants out? Why are they kicking the migrants out? Because they need them down there. They need them back down there because the environment, these floods, these tornadoes is damaging the food. And that's what the terrorists is about. It's like, the hell with y'all. Keep y'all stuff. We don't need none from China. We finna do everything in South and Central America. That's what they finna do. That's what the tariffs about. They're like, keep your tariffs. We finna take all of this and we ain't gonna do no business with you. Listen, you see China's down there building a road across from the east side of South America to the west side. Guess how long that's gonna last? Why you think China showing off their army? Because they know what's up. America finna run them out from down there. They're gonna have to leave. They finna fight over that. If the Chinese think that America gonna let them go in Panama, they out their mind. They're gonna fight over Panama. They not letting the Chinese. They not letting the Chinese get that close. You not setting up. You not setting up right up under us. Oh no, you can forget that, baby. That's why the Chinese and the Russians is meeting together. Because they know once America sew this up and get all that oil and get all them fruits and vegetables, it's a wrap. And the cocaine is over with. You want to use drugs, you're gonna have to get fentanyl. They're gonna get the fentanyl where it don't kill you, and you're gonna be using synthetic drugs. Yeah, you're gonna be using fentanyl. They're gonna get it down to where it don't kill you. Ain't no more cocaine. It's gonna be Fenty. It's gonna be synthetic cocaine. For real, think I'm playing, and it's gonna still be sold on the undermarket. The cartel leaders is, got to do what they got to do once they get strong-armed. And once they get strong-armed, they got to do what they got to do. Yeah, Fenty finna be, that's going to be the new, you ain't getting no H, you ain't getting no C no more. You getting artificial. You're going to have to get artificial drugs. You're going to have to do lean. You're going to have to do cough syrup. You're going to have to do, y'all ain't see? You're going to have to do pharmaceuticals. What all the shorties on? All the shorties on pharmaceuticals. Think about it. What all the shorties on? All the shorties is on pharmaceuticals. Think about it. What the young rappers on? Pharmaceuticals. Tell me I'm lying. They ain't doing H, they ain't doing C. Mm-mm. They on cough syrups and stuff. What is Oxy? The shorties on pills. What's perks? What is perks? Synthetic. The shorties on perks syrup. The China, Russia, North Korea uniting their military. They ain't gonna do nothing but get blowed up. They ain't gonna get nothing blowed up. They can unite, but America got the whole Europe with them. They ain't gonna be able to beat America, Germany, Russia, Poland. They ain't gonna be able to beat them. Russia's military is whack. They could barely beat the Ukrainians. Why you think America's in Ukraine, helping Ukraine? America's helping the Ukrainians so they can watch the Russian military. They playing the Russians like suckers. Get you in the war down there and watch. Look, they weak right here. Look, they can't do this. Look, they can barely beat the Ukrainians. The Russians can barely beat the Ukrainians. America will wipe Russia out in 6 hours. They be gone. Russia's old and raggedy. Russia is old and Russia is raggedy. China ain't got no navy. China ain't got no navy. They can't fight on the water. They trying to build islands, fake islands, so they can have a navy. They'll get wiped out. China get blown off the map. China is no comparison for the United States. None of them could beat the United States. You know why? Because everybody puts their money in infrastructure. Everybody put their money in buildings. Everybody put their money in that. America put all their money into guns. America take every dollar, goes into weapons. They don't buy that other stuff. See, you go buy buildings and you buy stuff. America buy guns. And then they come and say, okay, give us your stuff. What they do to the Native Americans? They say, okay, shut up, sit down, move. We finna put just cows over here. All these buffalo, okay, shoot all the buffalo and put cows. Remember they put trains and they went and shot all the buffaloes, shot all the Native Americans? Sold them guns that don't work and then attacked them with guns that do work. You understand? You understand? Hey, listen. They did a study. I think it was the Russians or the Germans. They did a study on attacking America. And they used all of their military statistics to figure out how they can invade America. And they came up with the conclusion they couldn't invade America because they said no matter what they did to the military, the citizens got too many guns. And wherever they would land at, the citizens would air them out. The whole United States is an army. Other countries, they citizens ain't got no guns. It ain't the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force they can't beat. They can't beat the citizens. We shooters. American citizens are the number one shooters. Who shoot on the 4th of July? Who shoot on New Year's? Nobody but us. No country in the world citizens got as many guns as American citizens. Nobody. American citizens are the most armed citizens in the world. That's a fact. And that's what they said. We can't invade America because the citizens is armed and dangerous. And many of the citizens is ex-military, isn't police and shit. You can't know Russians come to Chicago, where air their ass out. They don't got no guns in Africa. They don't got no guns nowhere else. Pharaoh, would this end the drug game for good? No, because it's going to go, is the drug game not going to end? It's going to go pharmaceutical. It's going to end the stuff they got. It's going to end their marijuana, but they're going to have dispensaries. They're going to have dispensaries all over South and Central America and bring it up legally. It's going to be legal. Herb is legal. They didn't end the marijuana game. They changed it. They didn't never end the marijuana. They changed it. You already said that once, Rob. Why you keep repeating yourself? We sent you the first time. Like, stop trolling. What's that all about, bro? Why you keep saying the same thing over and over? Stop doing that. Nobody responded the first time. That means we don't care what you're saying. Just keep typing the same thing over and over. Nobody responded the first time. That means your comment ain't no big deal. That's what I mean. They got to get rid of the cartels. Y'all got to understand that when it comes to drug abuse, that changes all the time. So whatever they doing now, that'll be over with. And like when I was little coming up, the big thing was alcoholism. Everybody was alcoholics. And then it was heroin. And then the heroin went down, and then it was angel dust. Then the angel dust disappeared. Then it was cocaine. Then the cocaine turned into crack. Then the crack era went into heroin came back. Then the heroin came back, and then it went into Oxycontin, and then it went into what we got now, pills, perks, lean. Remember lean? Lean was big. Bath salts a little bit, but it didn't take off like the other stuff. And so that always constantly changed. Mushrooms did all right, but the mushrooms wasn't addictive enough. The herbs are not addictive enough, so don't take off the addictive, the cough syrup. The cough syrup took over in the bottles. Look how long they still been drinking, putting cough. They still doing that. They still putting cough syrup in Sprite. Still today. So now it's perks and all of that. Percocets is the biggest thing. And it'll be something else. You can't, it'll be something else. It constantly keep changing. It constantly keep changing. The natural stuff don't really take over because they ain't addictive. So the herb, the mushrooms, the hash, that's never going to be as big as the heroin, the perks, the addictive stuff. Got the trank. Now you got trank. You see what people all bent over, right? Y'all know about the trank? Y'all see the people over there in like Philadelphia and stuff? You know what I'm saying? See? You see people just standing up, leaning over. See this guy? They just be standing up like that, just leaned over. Trank is on the East Coast. Look, they got pictures blurred out. They so bad. Some of these pictures are so bad that they won't even want to let you see them. This is one of the new. See what I'm saying? See people laid all over the street? Body parts rotting. They body parts rotting. They got holes all in their body. See? And they'll have one epidemic on the East Coast, and they'll have a different one on the West Coast. It's spelled TRANQ, trank. They'll have one on the East Coast, and they'll have something on the West Coast, and they'll have something else in Texas. So it'll be 3 different things going on. Seriously. But this situation is war. I just wanted to share that with y'all. I'm finna be out of here. And the main target is the oil. And Venezuela think they was going to let them keep that oil. They crazy. They coming for that oil. That's the number 1 oil producing country in the world. If America take that over, it's a wrap. Because whoever got the oil got the strongest military, can make the most money. And once America control Venezuela, you got to buy all the oil from us. You need oil, you got to buy it from us. America is a gangster country. Always have been. Some gangsters. And that's who Black Americans, we was raised by gangsters. And you say the Venezuelan president saying he want all the smoke. He just talking. He don't know what the hell he talking about. That man just running his mouth. He don't know what he talking about. He a country boy. He don't know what he's talking about. G-Rod. He a country from the country. Yeah, he a country boy. He from Venezuela. He don't know nothing. What do he know? He a country dude. Well, G-Rod, that's why I'm here. I'm letting the people in the United States know it ain't what you think. Don't listen to the news. Don't listen to these people. It ain't what you think. Yeah, it ain't that. That dude just talking. G-Rod. He just talking. He don't know what he talking about, G-Rod. He's saying he want all the smoke. You know why he's saying want all the smoke? He's saying he want all the smoke because he think he finna go to war with troops. G-Rod. He think he going to war with troops. He don't know. He ain't gonna see it coming. So I'm trying to tell y'all, he not finna see it coming. He think soldiers finna come. Soldiers ain't coming. Millions of these things is coming. Soldiers ain't coming. He thinks soldiers coming. He's slow as hell. That man thinks soldiers coming. That's what he think. He's slow. He from the country. All he gonna see is smoke. But it's gonna be him the one smoking. He the one gonna be on fire. Dude ain't gonna see it coming. He talking crazy. He has no idea what's finna happen. I seen him. He got all them troops. I'm like, troops? Bro, you primitive. Troops? What you gonna do with troops? Man, what you gonna do with army men? Army men is outdated, bruh. He showed all his army men. It's like, bruh, what? He think this is civil war. He think this Vietnam. You know what I'm saying? He's slow. He's slow. He think this Vietnam. You know what I'm saying? Man, they not, listen, G-Rod, this is the United States. These wars ain't never been seen before, G-Rod. When you say modern wars, the modern war ain't popped off yet. That's what you don't understand. You see what I'm saying, G-Rod? The modern war have not happened yet. They still been developing the drones. The modern war is about to happen, but it ain't happened yet. Y'all seen where the Ukraine was losing and they blew up a bunch of Russian equipment with drones? What was that, about 4 months ago? Remember, Russia was winning, and remember Russia took that hard hit from them drones, was about 3-4 months ago? Wiped out all their tanks and all of that? America's experimenting. You know what I'm saying? But when Venezuela see these and see this, they ain't gonna see it coming. It's a nuclear drone. This is a nuclear drone. You're not gonna see it coming. It can fly under the radar. The radar is high. Remember how they used to smuggle drugs? The planes flew what? Under the radar. What y'all know about the drug smuggling? Remember? You watch Miami Vice and all that? How did they get it in? They flew low, under the radar. The radar's up here. You fly down there, the drone's going to be right above the trees. You ain't going to see them. Boom! That's it, you gone. And they can program them. What you going to do? They could put other weapons on this. What you going to do if 2,000 of these come down there? What are you going to do? And they're going to go right to where your soldiers at. Oh, here go they soldiers. 52 west, east, north altitude, da. They're going to put the longitude and latitude, 53 degrees right longitude, 64 left longitude, boom. It's going to go right to you. Well, first they're going to send the one to find out where you at. The drone going to come, it's going to send your location to the other drone. Then the other drone going to come, bow. Send the drone, one drone do surveillance, send a signal to the killer drone, zip, bow. Next drone come, find you in the bushes, send the drone, bow. You know what I'm saying? You're out of here. I'm a foundational Black American, so me and the white man, we like brothers. I know how my white brother, I know how he get out. That's how he get out. Nobody knows my white brother like me. Don't nobody know him. The other blacks don't know him. The Hispanics in South America, the Russians, they don't know my white brother like the white man I've been up here with. They don't know dude is really that. You know what I'm saying? Dude is ruthless on the whole. You know what I'm saying? They don't know him. The only one know him is Black Americans, Foundation Black Americans. The only one know white America. Don't nobody else know white America but us. He got most of his inventions from us. We built a lot of this stuff. Quiet as is kept. Y'all think we ain't working on them drones and we ain't? Y'all don't think black females and black men is in there? Yeah, you put this in there, this will kill them. You know what I'm saying? We the ones. You better do some research. We the one behind making a lot of this stuff. And we ride with the USA. Yep. We ride with the white man in America. A lot of blacks gonna be mad. We ride with the white man in America. That's who we ride with. If he blow you up, bye. Why? Because if you blow him up, you blow me up. Because see, I live right next to dude. So I got a vested interest. See, if you blow up the United States, I got 6 children here. I got grandchildren. Blow up what? See what I'm saying? So I gotta fight with them. Because we on the same land mass. See, this is new military. We on the same land mass. So to cheer against them is to cheer against our own families. If you attack white Americans in Chicago and blow up Chicago, you blowing up black America. You blowing up Foundation Black. No, that can't happen, punk. No, that can't happen. You can't do nothing to America. Now, if I get out of here, then whatever. But while I'm here, I would definitely go to Venezuela and pop it off. Because it's me and him. This is what the rest of the world got to understand. You can't do nothing while we over here. You better go play with somebody else. We going to get in the fight. Because if you hurt America, you hurt us. That's just what it is. Black power dudes is lames. That's why I don't mess with the Black Power movement, because they got no they not military strategists. They emotional losers. They're off emotion. No, we black. You know, they're like, bruh, you in the United States. Shut up. Shut up. You over here riding with Venezuela, and them Venezuelans will blow your ass up. They don't even like you, man. The people don't like you, bruh. They don't respect you like that. Why you think all them blacks leaving Ghana? They look at us as Americans. And you got to be what society say you are. You can't be what you want to be. You got to be what the other people say you are. If you go outside and it's a bunch of white racist police and they're going to harass you, then you got to act like the harassments and move according to what they're going to do to you. You can't go outside in the dream world. You got to go outside in the real world. That's why a lot of us in Chicago, we're not moving to your state because your state is too racist. Y'all ain't standing on nothing. And then we can't come outside because they just run over you in your little weird state. We in the rack. They don't really play with us like that. So that's why we like it here. It's consequences playing with us here. If we find out we are the enemy like that, it's going to be up. So I'm not going nowhere where blacks is scared and you the super duper minority and they could just run over you and y'all coming up missing all in these different states and y'all missing and truckers missing and all. Man, I'm not going there. What I'm going to move down there for? You coming up missing. They marching all around you. Show me a bunch of racist marches in Chicago. Show me one racist group that come to the black part of Chicago marching. Guess how that turned out? Hell no. I'm on 67 and I'm coming outside if I hear about that. Oh yeah, and we'll be excited. Oh yeah, they're gonna come in March for real. Oh, okay, all right, we gonna come. We ain't coming to March though. Boy, you know where you at. You know what I'm saying? You better go back to Nebraska. Where you from, Nebraska? The people in Nebraska are crying. I'm gonna talk about that later. Because all the migrants left and ain't nobody there to work on the food. I'm going to talk about that maybe a little later tonight. That's it for this. I just wanted y'all to know what was going on with the warships in Venezuela. The warships is there to do strategic satellite surveillance to find out where everybody is at, to send the drones. That's why it's down there. You see all these big antennas on the big ship? See all these antennas and all these radars? They going down there to find out where everybody at. Then zip, boom, zip, boom, zip, boom, boom, boom. They got like a bunch of drones too. They got 10 to 20 different types of drones. They're going to send them all. They're going to send them all. My man in Venezuela, he going bye-bye. They coming for this oil. They coming for this oil and they coming for that land. They coming. They are coming. And they coming to Mexico. They coming for the cartels. They are coming for you. They got your picture up on the board. They got all y'all names on the board. And they are coming. And one thing about the United States, when they show you something like this, they are working on this. Lindsey Graham is not playing when he say they coming for the cartels. He's not playing. They're not playing. They coming because too much fentanyl has hurt, especially white Americans. Too many of them have died from fentanyl. You know what I'm saying? Oil is really everything, but they want the whole land. They want the whole Venezuela. They want the oil, they want the land for food because they have to find more places for the food to offset Mother Nature and these natural disasters. So these natural disasters, in order to survive these storms, they got to grow 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times the amount of food they've been growing to survive the tornadoes, the hurricanes, the flood. As Mother Nature, they see Mother Nature finna act of food. So they got to act accordingly. They got to grow more. Yeah, they are. They got to grow more. They got to have that land. America don't have enough farmland. Yeah, China's down there they building a road from one side of South America to the other side where they can have a port so they can go straight to China where they ain't got to drive around they ain't got to sail around the bottom. They not finna let China build that road or finish them ports in South America. It's not gonna happen. And if the leader of China keep playing around, he gonna get sick, he gonna go to the hospital, and he ain't gonna come out. He gonna get sick. He gonna go to the hospital, and he not gonna come out, and Ching Wang Hung gonna be the new leader. Let him keep playing. They're not playing with dude. Better sit his ass down. Let him keep playing. That's why them in Russia just met the other day, trying to start. You see them in Russia, man, but you didn't see the white countries meet because they like, y'all meet all you want. We ready for smoke. You didn't see Italy and Germany and England and Paul. You didn't see NATO and America meet. They're like, play with us. Because America already got a snake in there because the Russians is on America's side. China's some suckers. China think that Russia on their side. No, Russia is on America's side. Russia's on the white people's side. Russia will never help China beat white people because Russia is the fatherland for white people. The Caucasus Mountains in Russia. Putin look at all whites as his children. He'll never hurt whites for no Asians. He running the game on China. When Putin be with Trump, they be laughing. Putin be like, the Chinese think I'm their friend. No, I gotta laugh. That Putin is not the Chinese friend. China's a threat to Russia. He is Russia. He is China. They're not friends. They're not friends. That's why I admire white people because they stick together through hook and through crook. They stick together. Too bad black people ain't like that globally. That's why I respect white people. You're not supposed to hate nobody because they stick together. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to hate them. They doing what they supposed to do. Do what you supposed to do. Stop hating on white people. They trying to survive just like everybody else. Yeah, Venezuela starting this stuff. They on the ship laughing. You know what I'm saying? They on the ship laughing. Russia is half Europe, half Asia, though. Yeah, you can believe that. Well, what is Putin, though? Is Putin half Asian? I rest my case. What is Putin? Because America got blacks too, but who run it? Whites. So yeah, Russia got Asians, but who run it though? Where's the Caucasus Mountains, TY? Caucasians, right? Where is the Caucasus Mountains? And then I rest my case. No matter what you say, Caucasians, where's the Caucasus Mountains? At the end of the day. No matter what you say, where's the Caucasus Mountains? At the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, where is the Caucasus Mountains? At the end of the day. In Russia. And that's where they from. And that's what they standing on. You know what I'm saying? Eurasia don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. It's Russia. Let's take a break and we finish. I don't care nothing about that. They don't care nothing about that. Y'all don't know. Some of y'all don't understand. Support the channel. Man, listen. Y'all need to go study. You know what I'm saying? That's all I could tell you. Go study. What y'all know about World War II? You know what I'm saying? What that say? What that say? How the U.S. saved the Red Army in World War II. Who saved Russia from Hitler? Who sent tanks in to save Russia from Hitler? I rest my case. Ain't no Russia without the U.S. Hitler would have wiped them out. America the one took them new tanks over there and saved Russia. At the end of the day, Russia is forever in debt to the United States. What y'all know about that? Did China fight against Hitler to stop him from invading Russia? No, it's the U.S. to stop Russia from invading England, from invading Italy, from invading the rest of Europe. That's all facts. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. In their world, ain't no such thing as Europeans and Americans. It's white. You don't know what you're talking about. The world is white, black, red, and yellow, or brown. You don't know what you're talking about. I am too real. See, you're not real at all. You're not real. If you're a black man, you sleep. If you're a black man, you sleep. Because white people stick together. They white. They not really Russians and all that. But whatever. I ain't really got time to be talking to nobody don't know what's going on. I like to talk to people who know what's going on. Some people you don't know what's going on. You got to find out the hard way. Most of you, I get down with you. We start getting into world history. You don't know nothing. All over the world, white people are called Caucasians. Where is the Caucasus Mountains? That's where they from. This is their fatherland. Just like a lot of black people look towards Africa. This is where Europeans are from. The Greater Caucasus. They are Caucasians. Look, Ciscaucasia, not Asia, Caucasian, Asian. You gotta understand, the Chinese are white. They just look a little different based on where they, man, y'all ain't even, those are not the original Chinese. Those are white Chinese. But I don't want to get into all that. The Chinese in China now are white Chinese. Those are not the original Chinese. Same for Japanese. Them people used to be black. They have been breeded out. But that's over your head. As a fact, America and Russia playing good cop, bad cop on China. But if China get out of line, America and Russia will attack China. Russia would never let the Chinese attack white people. It ain't gonna happen. That's why they hated Hitler. They hated Hitler because Hitler was attacking white people. That's why whites hate Hitler. That's why he's one of the worst, most hated men in white history, because he was attacking his own people. They looked at him as a traitor. Do your research. They don't like Hitler. They hate Hitler. That's why they don't like Zelensky, because he's a Nazi. That's why Russia don't like Zelensky. And they are in there fighting Zelensky because he's been hurting and unaliving the Russian in the Donbass region for 9 or 10 years now. And they've been begging Putin to come save them. What did Putin just say a few weeks ago? Just give us the Donbass region. Why? Because that's where the Russians still live, back when it was the USSR. Zelensky is a Nazi. And Nazis attack their own race. Facts. And that's why Trump and Putin is cool and don't give a damn about Zelensky. Y'all don't see Trump don't like Zelensky at all. See how they talked to him when he came in? He had to walk out. Like, get out of here. You're attacking white people. That's over y'all head. Because the Asians is black. Would you tell them, Azim? It's the Asiatic black man. The Chinese is not the Asiatic black man. But whatever. I'm just giving y'all the facts. Those don't want to listen, don't listen. Those that want to learn, just listen and learn what I'm telling you. America and Russia is like this. They will never go to war. Ever. Never. America will always help Russia, but they won't help them to the point where Russia get as big as America. And that fake enemy stuff is to put lull everybody else to sleep. All of Europe and Russia and America and Australia is united. That is a fact. They are all united. They are all united. They are all united. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. Don't let nobody fool you. They are all united. And this is an absolute fact. If you don't know, I can't help you. But they are all united. What they do, right? They use colors to show their unity. This is for the brothers and sisters who want to really learn some game. Listen, you have to know who's on whose side by the colors they use, right? Now look at this. What do you see? Do you see division? This is the American flag, the French flag, and the Russian flag. What do you see? You see red, white, and blue. They telling you right there. They telling you right there. They telling you. Look. What color is that? Red, white, and blue. Now, you could think it's a joke. TY, I don't know what your questioning is. I don't know what your point is. I don't know what you want. Spit it out. Like, go ahead and spit out whatever you're trying to say. Because every time you come over here, it's like some underlying type of vibe. What is it? Like, what are you trying to say? And where is your channel? And where can I go watch your information? Are you putting out information I can watch? or what? What's your channel? Let me go watch your information. TY, where's your channel? Where's your information? I want to come see your information, see what you're putting out to the world. Or if you just said in the chat on top of my information. I'd like to know that. If I want to see if you're really smart, if you work like me. Where's your information, TY? Somebody go to his channel and see what he talking about. Let me see. It ain't nothing over there. This channel doesn't have any content. Oh no, that's not him. That's somebody else, I think. Let me see. I'm trying to see what TY talking about. Because he be coming over here doing a lot of typing. I want to see if he know anything. Ain't nothing over there. This channel hasn't posted yet. Duh. Be smart on your own channel. You're just a student of life. You know, the worst student in the world is the one that be talking over the teacher. So you're not a very good student. And why you ain't doing your homework? But anyway, this is what we do. You come back tomorrow. Go stand in the corner, okay? Do your homework and come back tomorrow. That's how we do that. It's real simple. It's not complicated. I'm not going to let you come over here and confuse the rest of these people with all that. Try to contradict everything I say when you still a student. I'm the big teacher. Why is a student trying to talk to the teacher? I ain't no student of life. I'm the man. You know what I'm saying? I write the book. I'm the book. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of people that's Caucasians, but they not classified as Caucasians. But the Arabs are not blue bloods. You got a lot of Caucasians, but then that breaks down into blue bloods. That's what's red, white, and blue. So now Arabs are not blue bloods. The British are blue bloods. The Americans that run this place are blue bloods. The French that run France are blue bloods. The British that run England are blue bloods. The whites that run Australia are blue bloods. Not even all the whites are what they consider blue bloods. That's a whole nother video. That's a whole. That's gonna take another 2 hours to get into that. You got to be blue blood. That's the difference between the slave owner and the one out there working with the slaves, watching the slaves, the indentured servant. You know what I'm saying? See, they had whites that was indentured servants. See, they got a rank and file too. They got a whole system that's, we could talk about some other time. I'll get into that. But they all have to get in line. They all have to follow the blue bloods. The blue bloods is the leader. They control the money. They control the wealth. They control the jobs. They control the economics. They control the food. So everybody got to get in line with the Rockefellers and the DuPonts and all of them. Feel me? But they stick together. This is why Okay. I'm going to have to end this, but I will just go into it right quick. If anybody that know, this is why when they got to fighting too much, what did they do? All right? I'll give you some history. When they got to fighting too much, what did they do? They got together and they had what? The Berlin Conference. And when they had the Berlin Conference, they said, listen, we all Caucasians. We got to stop fighting over these materials in Africa and stuff. And we got to unite and take all their stuff and split it up between ourselves. We can't keep fighting each other. We have to take all of this stuff and divide it amongst ourselves. We are brothers. If you don't know nothing about the Berlin Conference, that's when they said, listen, we cannot keep going to war. Now that we seeing Asia and we seeing Africa, we got to go take this stuff from them. And then we take everything and we divide it up amongst each other. If we keep fighting, they're going to take us over. This is real history. This is not like make-believe stuff I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm telling y'all real history. Some brothers just don't be wanting to learn nothing. They be wanting to argue. Them people united and they still standing on that. That's why they keep talking about treaties. They standing on that. This is how they got world dominance. They not finna get out of the way. That's why they call what? What they call in Europe? The United Nations. That what that mean. The UN, the United Nations. See, Africa. We can divide this up amongst each other. We must not go to war. We must work together and take this stuff from these other people. They outnumber us. If we don't stick together, we cannot beat them. We cannot fight them hand to hand. We must make weapons. They outnumber us by far. So we got to unite and divide them. And so they surrounded Africa and they attacked it from every side and they divided the Africans. They the ones helped create Nigeria and all them countries. And then now all the Africans, what? This African speak French. This African speak English. This one speak this language. That they did that on purpose. They the ones made all them countries in Africa. Africa didn't make all them countries. Europeans made those countries. Those aren't real countries. Those aren't real countries. That's not real. What you see, what you see, they did that. All the Africans come from East Africa and went west. This is our Alkebulan. And all of them was united. They was not, these people wasn't divided. They all worked together for the benefit of every group. You see, this whole big spot was called Kush. Not all that war that you got going on. They wasn't doing all of that. They wasn't doing all that war. They didn't have all that war. They wasn't doing that. That's all new stuff that they put into us. They divided us. They came in and started naming all this stuff. All them names come from them. That place was not called no Ghana, no Nigeria, none of that. That was not called that. All them people in West Africa come from East Africa. They was all united. Then they got to fighting and what? Selling each other, right? They start fighting and they start selling each other to the Portuguese. And then when the Portuguese went and made money, they came back and said, you got some more. And they kept fighting. The first slavery, they was selling POWs. They wasn't just selling Africans, they was selling prisoners of war. They wasn't just selling, and they was not selling their own people, because by then they didn't consider the people they were selling as their people. They had been divided. So when we say Africans sold their own people, that's not actually correct, because they did not look at their enemy that they was fighting as their people. They looked at you as somebody else. I live here, you live over there. There was no concept, we Africans. That's a Pan-African fake concept. You live over here, you live over there. I'm Benin, you Butu. You not my people, you Butu. You're not my people. But we say they sold their own people. They did not sell their own people. They sold their enemies. That's a fact. But you try to make the Africans look bad. They did not sell their own people. They sold the people they was fighting with. They wouldn't have been fighting if them was their own people. Look it up. The whole Africa concept, it still don't exist in Africa. They not Africans. Any African to tell you he not an African, that's something we made up. They don't call themselves no Africans. You ain't gonna never see no Ethiopian call himself no African. They're gonna tell you, I'm Nigerian, I'm Ghanaian, I'm Ethiopian, I'm Sudanese. Ain't no Africans. We think they Africans. They ain't no Africans. And the same, and so they united. I got to add the British flag and all the other ones on one of these and make it even bigger. But this just gives you the basic idea. Because the British flag used a darker blue. I wanted to use the one that used the exact same blue to show you. And if you look at the flag of the Islamic nations, you'll see a lot of them use red, green, and white. Y'all ain't noticed that? Same thing. A lot of their flags is red, green, and white, or red, green, black, and white. A lot of, if you look at Islamic flags, they use the same color scheme too. So these people is united. But as Black Americans, we always ride with the United States, right, wrong, and indifferent, because this is where we live at. This is where we live at. You understand? So as foundational Black Americans, we have no choice but to defend the United States. I had no choice but to defend the territory of the United States because all my family's here. All my brothers and sisters is here. All the people I grew up with here in Chicago. We can't let you invade Chicago. Period. We don't care who you is. If you want to attack the United States, we come into your country. And if it get bad, we coming at all age. If it's bad enough, I'll go on. I'm 67. I will enlist and go if it's a matter of survival for my grandchildren. Then it's going to be smoke. I'm not going to let you come over here and destroy my grandchildren. But some people say, oh, you fighting with the white man. I'm fighting for my family is here. And ain't no black people came and got us. Ain't no Africans came and got us. That's why we don't really deal with Africa like that. Why would I deal with somebody that left me over here? If you're trying to say I'm from there, I can't tell. So I'm from here. I'm a foundational Black American. I'm not an African. I don't know nothing about Africa. I know about Alabama. My people from Alabama. That's where my people are from. They're from Alabama. And some of my people is Sioux. They ain't even black, like African black. They foundational Black American black. Now, some of my relatives is Black Native Americans. So I'm African. I got African blood, but I got Black Native American blood, but I got no connection with that. I have no connection with Africa like that. I have a long ancestral connection with ancient Kemet, but in modern times, there's two different bloodlines. It's the bloodline that go all the way back, and then it's the recent bloodline. Like, okay, like Nigerians come from East Africa, right? G-Rock from Nigeria. He ain't gonna identify with his East African bloodline because that was a long time ago. He gonna identify with his Nigerian bloodline. It's the same thing. You can watch Queen Mother of Ghana. She say all West Africans come from East Africa, but they don't remember that. So they gonna identify with remembering, man, I was in Niger, I was in Nigeria, I was in Burkina, I was in Ghana. That's what they're gonna identify. They're not gonna identify with their ancient bloodline all the way back to East Africa. You're gonna identify with your more recent bloodline, where it was at. So if you're in Ethiopia, you're going to identify with Ethiopia. If you're in Nigeria, you're going to identify with Nigeria. You're not going to identify with what the Ghana Queen Mother said you came from East Africa. You're not going to consider yourself no East African. You know what I'm saying? You're going to consider yourself a Nigerian. You know that your people came from East Africa, but you don't know nothing about that. All you know is your great-granddad and great-great-grandma was Nigerian. You was a Nigerian. You know what I'm saying? All I know is my great-grandmother and great-great, all I know is we was Black Americans. So I'm foundational Black America. I cannot identify right now with Africa. For how? That was a long time ago. I got to deal with the more recent lineage. The struggles and the punishment and the abuse here and the money I helped make here. My people helped build this. We didn't help build Africa. We didn't pick no cotton in Africa. We didn't get lynched in Africa. We haven't been abused in Africa. Rosa Parks didn't fight in Africa. All that happened here. And we got to survive now. You're 100% correct. But we still brothers and sisters, though. I don't believe in beefing. I don't believe in beefing. We still brothers and sisters. But it's just you got to respect me as a foundational Black American if you want me to respect you as a Nigerian. Don't tell me I'm an African, but you a Nigerian while you ain't an African. So that's the problem I got with Africans. They want us to say we Africans and they ain't even Africans. That's bogus. How you gonna try to tell me what I should identify with when you identify with whatever you want to identify with? And I gotta respect that. And then you gotta respect I'm identifying with whatever I'm identifying with. How you gonna try to tell me what to do? Can't nobody tell you what to do. That's like me saying, well, why you not identify with El-Kibbulan? Because it wasn't no Africa, it was El-Kibbulan. What if I said that? See what I'm saying? Why you ain't identifying with El-Kibbulan? See what I mean? If we gonna go back to all my brothers in Africa, why you ain't go back to the original then? You ain't no African. You from El-Kibbulan. Now let me get something straight before we go. Africa does not come from a white man. That's all a lie. Africa does not come from the guy Afrikaners. That don't come from that. You know how they say Africa's a white man? No, it's not. He took that name on because he conquered the Afrikaners. He conquered the Afrikaners. The African, they was called African. They was called African up there north. And when you conquer people, you would add their last name to show you conquered them. So if you conquered Asia, you would call yourself Joseph so Asia. And so because he conquered these people, the Afrique, he called himself Yusuf, whatever his name is, Afrique. Africa's not named after him. He's named after a group from North Africa. So when they tell you that the word African come from a white man, that's wrong. He took that name. That's not his real last name. That name means he conquered the people up there in Morocco, and they was up in that area, in the Morocco area. And this military guy, he conquered them, and you then whoever you conquer, you use that as your last name. So he was so and so Africa. But the name Africa don't come from him. His name comes from them. That's not his real name. Look it up. The white guy that they say Africa's named after, if you look it up, that's not his real name. That's a title that Europeans would put on their name to show who they conquered. Look it up. Look it up. The word Africa is a black word from a tribe up there from up around Morocco. Afrique. That's not a European. That's a fact. Afrique is a black tribe from Central North Africa. That is the real facts. It's not a European title. It's black. They was black people. You understand? So when the people came to East Africa, when they went back up, they called us Ethiopians. When the people came to the Central North Africa, they went back up there and called us Africans. See what I'm saying? Wherever they went, they called you based on where you was at. So when the Greeks came down, they was in Ethiopia, Egypt, so they called us Ethiopians. But when the whites came down to that central part where the Afrique lived, they went back and called us Africans. Because of that tribe up there, that group of people was Afriques. Look it up. That's why nobody put no money up to debate me. Nobody don't want to get this work like I'm really him. A freak is black from up there at the top part of the continent. Let me show you the exact area. The Africans come from up here, Libya, Tunisia, top of Algeria. That's where they live, right here in the center up at the top. They're freak. They live there. And when that European dude came and conquered them, he put that on the end of his name to show that he conquered them. There's no white man named Africanus. He put that on his name to show that he conquered the Afriques. Afrique is indigenous. African. So we was called African. We was called Abyssinian. We was called Ethiopian. We was called Cushites. Depend on where they went and met you at. So whoever they met, you gotta understand, they don't know that the whole place ain't named that. So if a white man come to Algeria, and he meet black people, they call it something. He don't know if everybody call themselves that or not. So when you go back to Europe, he gonna say he met whatever they call themselves. So people gonna think the whole continent is them people. So this had a confusion come in. They didn't have airplanes and stuff. Nobody could see the whole continent. So when you go down to Ethiopia, you go back up, you say Ethiopians, you call them all Ethiopian, because a lot of times they meant like people with dark faces and different stuff like that. So when he came down and he met the Africans, he went and said they Africans. But that was just one group called Africans. Not Africans, it's Africans. They from up here. We really is Africans. That's a fact. We had a lot of names. If you came in South Africa, we was something else. It depends on which, hey, G-Rod, it depends on which black person you meet. Then you gonna go back and say, I was with them, and everybody gonna think the whole continent is them. Yeah, this gonna stay up. You go to the continent and you meet people on East Africa and they say they this, you're gonna assume everybody there is that. So you're gonna go back to Europe or Asia and say, yeah, I met these people. But that's just what they call themselves over there. But you ain't gonna know that in primitive times. You ain't gonna know the whole place ain't called that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna know the whole place ain't called. We live in modern times, so we be thinking that everybody in ancient times see it the way we see it. They couldn't see it the way we see it. They on camels and horses. They ain't on airplanes and trains and cars. So when they go back, they say, "Oh, I met the Moors, or I met the Africans, or I met the Abyssinians, or I met the Cushites." You're going to think everybody's a Cushite. You're going to think everybody's African. So Africa is not white. Africa is a black tribe. They was cool. The Africans was cool as hell. They was positive. The Kemet people in Kemet, we worked with the Africans. We worked with all of them. The Africans was cool. They was the ones that helped build Timbuktu and all that. Them the people that was around Timbuktu that had all them books and all that. They was smart. The Africans was it. They really had the knowledge. All the knowledge was in Timbuktu and what they call Alexandria, which is named after the European. It really wasn't Alexandria. It was Luxor and like that. We had all of the books, but the Africans had all the history, all of it. They burnt all that up. Timbuktu was like the library for the continent. They had a lot of stuff in Kemet, but you gotta understand Kemet way over there. And West Africa way over there, but Timbuktu in the middle. So they had everybody knowledge. They want to change to Africa because they don't understand it's African, but then that still ain't gonna hurt to change it because African don't represent the continent. It only represents one little group. But they think it's white, but it's not white. The Afrik was black. The term Africa is not a bad term. The Africans was black. So make sure you tell all the brothers and sisters, look it up. They try to say Afrique is a French term for Africa. That's not true. That's not true. That's what AI try to say. AI don't know what it's talking about. See, even AI don't know. See, even AI don't know this. That's deep. They think it's French. That's crazy. Man, this is crazy. They think it's French. They don't even know the knowledge. That's crazy. They try to say it's a French word. That's because it's spelled wrong, because it's not spelled Afrique, Afrique. It spells something else. It's spelled different. I'm going to find the original spelling. I'm going to find the original spelling and bring it to y'all. They say Afri was a name given by Romans and Greeks to the indigenous people of North Africa. That's not true. Wow. That's not even true. Wow. That's deep. They didn't wipe that tribe out, that group out. That's deep. That's why we got to write books to straighten it out. Look, it ain't nowhere to be found. Our free name, meaning the Urdu, is color of earth. See, look, I found it. See how they be lying? Now look at this. See how they be lying? Now look. See how they be lying? Now all of a sudden, our free meaning in Urdu, Africa. Right? Look, a free name meaning the Urdu is color of earth. Now they try to say Afri is an Arabic originated Muslim girl name. See? But they saying it's Arabic, but the original Islam come from North Africa. And so those is not Arabs. Islam don't come from Arabs. Islam come from black people. Bilal was black. See y'all how they be lying? They trying to say it's a Muslim word, but that language was created by blacks. Muhammad was black. See? Muhammad was black. Muhammad was black. Muhammad's great grandchildren was all black. They went to Ethiopia. Ethiopia said, we cousins. They took them in. Bilal was black. See? So they trying to say Afri is Arabic. But the original Arabic was black. Ishmael is the father of the people you call Arabs. Original Arab, was a black Hebrew Israelite mixed with an Egyptian, was an Arab. This is facts. This is facts. When Abraham got his woman pregnant and had Ishmael, that is what you would call an Arab, a free. Two black people, a black Hebrew Israelite mixing with a black Egyptian is the original, what they would call people that end up, they call it Arabs. And they only call them Arabs because they lived in Arabia. And Arabia is right across from Egypt. Duh. And so is Israel. Israel's right there. Arabia is right there. They drug all of the stuff off of the pyramids and stuff and drug it over there and put it in Mecca. All this was black. Mecca, Egypt, Israel, all that was the black holy land. All of that was the holy land, the whole circle. The whole circle of Egypt, Israel, Ethiopia, all the way down. All that was considered the Holy Land. This whole big circle, when you make a circle around Egypt, all the way around this pink country I can't see on top of Saudi Arabia, all the way down under Somalia, all the way back up around Sudan, and back up, all that was the Holy Land. That whole big circle was the Holy Land. It encompassed Sudan, Egypt, Ethiopia, Mecca. I can't see what that is under there and on top. Israel, all of that was the Holy Land. All of that. And then to your left of the Holy Land was the scholars, was the libraries and stuff. And that would be Timbuktu and all that. And then the rest of Africa was like a big environmental place for the animals, where the wildebeest and lions and stuff could run across and live freely. It was an animal sanctuary. The whole center part of Africa was an animal sanctuary, and the people that lived in that was real good at habitating with the animals. They knew how to live amongst the elephants, the gorillas, and stuff like that. They was like the caretakers of the animals. Because a lot of places you didn't live, because it'd be like 100,000 wildebeest running through there. So we used to know the migration areas. You don't build your house right here. The wildebeest come through it every year. They're going to run over your crib. You know what I'm saying? They go fly. Same thing in America. They had the buffalo, and the people that lived in America, we didn't live where the buffalo used to run around at. The Europeans came and shot all the buffaloes and moved there. Nobody lived in the migration routes. We used to have sanctions. We used to let the animals have a spot. We didn't take everything. We let the animals have a spot. That's why the animals didn't bother us, because they was like, they ain't bothering us. We ain't gonna bother them. And when an elephant get messed up or a lion get messed up, he would leave the herd and come to us. And then we would take care of them. And then when they passed away, we would stuff them and we would put them up in the kingdom. You know, this was Simba. You know, he got sick, he came, we took care of Simba until he passed away. And we wouldn't let him rot, so we would stuff him and taxidermy him and put him up as a symbol. This was the great lion, lived many years. And before he passed away, he came and lived around us, and we fed him and we pet him. He was cool. Big gorillas and stuff, we would taxiderm them. That's where the whites got it from. Because we know Big Jomo, the big gorilla. We know him. Because sometimes their teeth would go bad. They couldn't eat and stuff. And the animals are real smart. And so if the big gorilla can't eat and stuff and he come and our queens mash him up food and give it to him, he love us. He be hugging us and everything because we feed him. He ain't got no teeth. So when the animals couldn't hang with the other animals, they would come to the people and we would take care of them. And then when they passed away, we wouldn't let their body rot. We wouldn't let the vultures eat them. We would drag them in and we would stuff them and put them up. That's big Simba. Yeah, we would tell all the kids, yeah, Simba first came to us back with your great granddaddy and them found him. And he didn't have no teeth and we used to feed him. And he used to protect us. If it was a crazy tiger or a crazy lion come, Big Simba would get him and snap his neck. You know what I'm saying? Because we did have man-eaters sometimes that feel like they could just run up here and we used to have to do them dirty. We used to have to do the man-eaters dirty over in Africa and over here. Sometimes the wolves get to tripping when it comes steal babies. You know, the wolves in America would come try to steal, and would come and try to steal babies. Sometimes we used to have to do the wolves dirty. You know what I'm saying? That's the real history I want to tell y'all. You got to go study on your own. And what happens is you'll read a book, and then that book will tell you some knowledge you didn't even know was in there. So you got to read a lot of books. Some of the books going to tell you knowledge that ain't in the title of the book. So you could be reading a book about some Italians, and then they talk about their experience in Africa, and you ain't going to find that information in no book about Africa. You're going to find that in the book about the Italian that went to Africa. And his story, what he's saying. Might not be no African wrote it down. So you, when it comes to studying, I might have to do a live on that and break that down to the young generation. Like studying is heavy. You got to read everything because you're going to find knowledge in a book that's not about that subject. You ain't going to always find the knowledge in a book about that subject. That's why they learned a lot of stuff about the motherland from the Greeks. A lot of that stuff is in Greek books because the Greeks came to ancient Kemet and wanted to learn, and we wouldn't teach them. We made them stay 25, 30 years before we would teach them because the Greeks was the first ones we taught anything. Then the Greeks went back and they started doing what we taught them, but a lot of Greeks got underlined because they went and told the Europeans what we taught them. And the Europeans didn't want to hear that. They come up here talking about the earth ain't flat and all of that. Socrates and all of them, they poisoned them because they came back telling them what we had taught them. They thought the earth was flat. They came and seen us and went back and said, no, the earth ain't flat. They say, hey, that's sacrilegious, you know what I'm saying? Because they learned it from us. And then once they realized the Greeks knew something, then the Romans copied the Greeks. So the Greeks learned from us. The Romans learned our stuff via the Greeks. That's who the Greeks and the Moors, the one that taught Europe everything. because the Greeks learned from Kemet, and the Moors went up there and taught them straight up. When their kingdoms had failed, the Moors went and rose Europe back up. Europe had fell. You know what I'm saying? Europe had failed. You know, the knowledge is heavy. See, back in those days, they didn't do race and stuff like that. So let's say I went to Europe, and let's say all y'all white, and I'm in y'all kingdom right now, and I'm sitting there and I'm a great warrior. And this other white group always be fighting y'all. They invade, and I'm sitting there with the king. So now when this white group come and start fighting y'all whites, I get my sword. I'm fighting with y'all, right? Wow, wow. And we win. Now I'm an honorary one of y'all. They didn't do race. So now I'm whatever y'all is, I'm that now. Yeah, I'm honorary whatever y'all is, I'm honorary that. They're going to move me up high in the status because they're going to talk about how I took my mighty sword and now I was fighting their enemy. That's how they used to be. You understand? So they didn't do race and stuff like that until they started doing race because of religion. That's why they started doing race. Because when they came down to Ethiopia and they seen these ancient Christians, and they were supposed to be Christians that they learned from the blacks, the whites was like, you can't kill them, they Christians. So they had to come up with a philosophy to be able to unalive us. So they said they came up with a philosophy that we was black and we was less than. That would give them an excuse to go against their religion. Because based on their religion, we was the original Christians. They wasn't supposed to be able to do nothing to us. So they just made race up as an excuse to do that. That's where race came from. They made it up. There wasn't no race back in the day. Did nobody do no race? They did tribes. Where you from? Is you friend or foe? They didn't do no race. They didn't care if you was black, green. Nobody cared about that. Nobody, in ancient time, nobody cared what color you was. Because people was going on boats and camels and doing world trade. So if you go from Africa or you go from Europe, you go over and meet this Asian dude and he got the bomb spices, that's your man. You know what I'm saying? He got the bomb, and you trade him some stuff and get some stuff, and like, I'm my friend. You go back to him, yeah, I went over there, ching gang go. He had the bomb. You don't be like, oh, you Asian, I hate you. They wasn't doing that. That's some new weirdo stuff. That's new. That's new. Race is a new concept. They wasn't doing no racism. They had to come up with racism to abuse people. Basically. There was no race or nothing like that. And there was no slavery. If I captured you, I had to let you go after 7 years. The rules was you can only have a servant or a slave for 7 years. That's it. So technically, whatever slaves white Americans had over here, after 7 years, they were supposed to let them go. You weren't supposed to have no slaves no 400 years. They broke international law. That's a fact. They broke international law because you always had slaves, because if somebody came in and invaded your country and tore your country up, you would keep them 7 years to fix it back. You know, if you came in here with your men and you burnt down huts and all that, and we captured you, you got to build huts back. You got to fix, you know what I'm saying? So we keep you 7 years. It was only for you to fix what you tore up. But they took it and just made it like evil to make money. It just made you do all their work. Didn't want to do their own work because they couldn't take the sun. So they just turned it into some satanic type stuff. Slavery in America was a total international violation of law. So yeah, they owe reparation. The slave module for the U.S. started in Barbados. I mean, it really started simultaneously everywhere in South and Central America and all the Caribbean, basically. I don't know what they called it, but it started all over the place. It started when they went too far, when they kept you longer than 7 years, and that started happening in a lot of places. They began to keep you longer than 7 years. So it's across the whole U.S. I got a video you could go watch where I break down the whole thing. I did it for some brothers and sisters. Let me see if I can find it. You go watch this video right here. You go watch this right here. Uh, go watch this video right here. And I break it all down. I did it for some brothers in the Caribbean. They wanted me to do it. They paid me a little. They paid me to make this video for their island. It's called Colonialism in the Caribbean. I got a bunch of versions of it up. I think I reposted it, but go check it out. It's called Colonialism in the Caribbean, and I broke down the whole. I broke down the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? For some brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, and I went through the whole. I went through the whole history. Go check it out. Colonialism in the Caribbean. If you want to learn that history, it's a bunch of them I posted because I had to keep posting them in case people didn't see them. Bermuda. You know what I'm saying? I went through the whole thing, through the whole Caribbean, uh, all the islands. You know what I'm saying? Go check it out. It's thorough. The whole thing with the sugar cane. Go check it out. It's fire. You know what I'm saying? Much respect to all my brothers and sisters in the Caribbean. I got all the flags. You know what I'm saying? I got all the flags. It's fire. You know what I'm saying? I'm representing everybody. You know how we do. You know what I'm saying? Got all the flags. Bam. You know, I don't be leaving nobody out. I'm about some unity. Look at that. Tell me that ain't fire. To all the brothers and sisters out there, wherever you from, if you're in the Caribbean, I represented the whole place. Took me a lot of work to post all y'all flags and make it look right. See everybody flag? If you see your flag, comment in the get in the comments and tell us where you're from. If you see your flag, it's amazing how many of them got the British flag in their flag though. If you see your flag, comment in, make a comment. Tell us where you from. Rep your island. You feel me? Look how many islands it is. It's a lot of them, ain't it? Look how many times the British flag come up. Yeah, shout out to Trinidad, the Virgin Islands, blah, blah, right? Shout out to all my brothers and sisters in the Caribbean. You know what I mean? You know, people pay me to do documentaries. I just don't say nothing. Yeah, people pay me to do documentaries. You know what I'm saying? I'm on I'm on some total world unity. I ain't on no division type stuff. FBA is not division. FBA is lineage, so we can get the money from the people over here that owe us. That's what it is. Don't let nobody fool you. FBA is strictly an American thing to trace our stuff back to the money that's owed here. That's all that is. To show who was the ones here doing slavery. That's it. To trace our lineage back to the 1800s and back. That's it. That's all that really is. I don't know what nobody else saying FBA is. They're giving you the wrong information. It's just lineage. It's not anti. That's crazy. Are you anti because you say you're Nigerian? Are you anti because you say you Ethiopian? Are you anti because you saying you Jamaican? Should I say, man, you can't call yourself Jamaican. You got to call you, we all one. No. But when we say we FBI, now you talking about we all got to be one. Wait a minute. Why we can't have a name just like you got a name? You got a name. You Nigerian. You Ghanaian. But now I'm FBA. Now I'm representing division. Why Nigerian ain't representing division? Why Jamaican ain't representing division? Why Trinidadian ain't represent? What's the difference in you say you're a Trinidadian and I say I'm foundational Black America? What is the difference? Make it make some sense. Ain't no difference. You're just hating on us. You always want us to be with everybody, but everybody ain't with us. What's up with that? Why the foundational Black Americans, why we got to be everybody's friend, but nobody else ain't got to be everybody's friend? You ain't everybody's friend either. You ain't everybody. You a Nigerian. Stop it. You a Ethiopian. You a Jamaican. You ain't no represent everybody. You represent Jamaica. Stop. So that's what it is, y'all. I hope y'all learned something from this. I mean, we're going to do what we got to do. And y'all need to be on some type of unity or something, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to all the Rastas out there. Big up yourself. Brah, brah.